Welcome to the Love, Truth, Peace, Freedom, and Justice podcast. We've made it to episode 4 about justice. I am, they call me Ferdinand, the bringer of balance, leader of many disciplines. And I'm only one half of this, the real teacher, right? Because when the student is ready, the teacher appears. And the teacher is Brother Maurice Pennington Bay. How you doing, Brother Islam?
Islam, more happy holy day, more happy holy day. Today is the
Happy
holy
Holy
day
Day.
for all the Muslims all over the world. Happy holy day. That's right. I want to say this. You said teacher, and I am the Sunday school teacher for Temple number 2. But I like to call myself and all of the other faithful members who, aspire to communicate these lessons to society and to the world to help uplift fallen humanity, to teach ones how to create inner balance and how to cultivate and grow themselves. I like to call us the master students of the Professor Drew Ali. Drew Ali, the Egyptian adept, is the professor, and we are his master students. And when I say master students, I mean those who have incorporated, in them the principles of learning. There are principles to learning, and I want to talk about the first one. I'm just gonna speak on it just to communicate it so everybody can know when they're approaching learning, especially more science and learning the knowledge of self, is modesty. Teaching modesty, and he shall not be ashamed. He shall not be ashamed. A lot of times it's that fear of being ashamed that freezes us and it keeps us from moving forward. It's that fear of being ashamed that causes some of our leaders not to truly lead to the fullest of their capacity because they are afraid to fail. They are afraid to not succeed. So therefore, they give us this mediocre effort. And that mediocre effort has been what's perpetuated the Negro problem for 100+ years since the Prophet Noble Ali founded this divine movement.
I
So
agree with you, brother. When I first came into the Moorish Science, well, before I came into the Moorish Science Temple, I used to mentor a Grand Sheik by the name of Kinnick El. And I spent a lot of time with that brother long before I was even interested to proclaiming my nationality as a Moor. But throughout my time with that brother, the lesson that I learned the most, a lot happened. But the lesson that I learned the most was modesty. That's what he used to say to me all the time. Because see, I'm very effective in the things that I do. I can get things done very fast and get them done at a level of excellence that's hard for other people to achieve in even a longer period of time. So sometimes that can bring on hubris, and that can be damaging for a person's character, and that can be damaging for relationships. And this is a lesson that I learned from Brother Kinnick L. And I'm not sure if he's still teaching more science or not. I think he was interested in stepping down as a sheik, because he had been being a sheik for so long. Sometimes people need to transition into something new. But that was the lesson that I was left with from Temple 14.
Islam, Islam, Islam. You see how you just communicated that? He said, how he endowed thee with wisdom, how he enlightened thy mind with the knowledge of truth, communicated to the ignorant for their instruction, communicated to the wise for thy own improvement. So while you were mentoring that brother in aspects of his life that he needed to grow, he was mentoring you in more science and aspects of all of our lives, all of us who are Asiatics, where we need to grow, into the knowledge of self, into the knowledge of community, into the knowledge of society, into the knowledge that there's only one race on this planet, the human race, and that we are only exist in nations and tribes so that we can better learn one another, so that we can better go out as individuals uniquely and master this world and together rule it as God has ordained that man should do, to be the Lord of the plane of soul and of the plane of things made manifest. This is something that we all do together, that we must do together. And it begins with us learning together and growing together and being cultivated in that same sacred grove. So that's what you just communicated right now. That relationships are important. And I think that we don't emphasize being good friends enough. We don't emphasize being good brothers. We don't emphasize being good fathers. We don't emphasize being good husbands to our wives, and vice versa. This is something that we have to be knowledge and intentional about. You have to be intentional about being a good person, You know, that's why I leave every day when this is over. I always tell the Moors, obey the prophet and be good Moors. Good is thy power. I'm telling the Moors to exalt themselves, to express themselves, to be powerful. You were created wonderfully, full of wonder. You know, allow for some of that to come out. You know, and the only way to allow for that to come out is for you to recognize it within yourself. To
That's
recognize
a
it
fact.
within yourself, you have to be able to see it in others because we are mirrors for one another. You know, so that's awesome and that's great that you and that brother, the way that y'all helped one another. You know, so that's peace for real.
Yeah, yeah, we definitely help one another. There was some challenging times, but there was some very enlightening times. You know, one of the books that we
Mm-hmm.
read together was the Mo was having some troubles with some different things, so we sat down and we read a book together called the Game of Life and How to Play It by Florence Scovel. And over the phone, I'm reading a page. The Mo read a page. I read a page. The Mo read a page, and we grew together in that space. So that was some beautiful times that we've had, and I've learned from many other Moors in high leadership positions, such as Carrie Alinde L and Corey Alinde L, Umar Bay down in Baton Rouge.
Mm-hmm.
That right, and I'm gonna be quiet after I say this. But that
Don't be
brother right
quiet.
there is one of the most effective and knowledgeable and righteous brothers that I've ever met in my entire life. And he was my mentor
Islam.
down in Baton Rouge for a long time. Him and Burhani and a couple other people down there. They and Miss Cheryl, my dad's wife. I would say that each of them have been catalyst types of individuals in in my leadership walk.
Mm-hmm.
Because without, I still would have been walking a path of leadership, but would I be at this point right now without them? Probably not. It probably
Islam.
would have taken a lot longer to get to this point without the time that I spent with them. And I was only down there for a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Only a year and a half, and they helped to change my perspective on everything. Umar Bey, right? He's a member of the Washita as well as Amor. And Umar, he's got his own bees. He's got his own honey. He grows his own food. He has his own school. Him and his wife have been together for decades. Take care of his family.
Islam.
He's got a
Islam.
traveling exhibit of inventors,
Mm,
black and melanated Asiatic inventors that he gives to the world.
mm.
This brother is something special, and I was able to learn under him long before I met almost anybody else in the Moorish Science Temple. This Moor was my teacher. So I always want to give love and reverence to these individuals who help shape who I am, because most people, they don't really know nothing about me. I'm
That's
not
right.
really all. I mean, I got information on social media everywhere, but the intricate details that really help to shape who I am, the vast majority of people don't even have a clue, because these were lessons that were no different than the ancient times. They were
Mhm.
from lip to ear.
That's right. That's right. Islam. I get honest to those brothers and sisters who helped you along the way. I get honest to all of the brothers and sisters who helped me. You know, as a Moorish American, my first real teacher, the brother who actually took that position. You know, in the temple, his name was Sheikh Robinson Bey. Sheik Robinson Bay was amazing. I was just talking to the Sheik is Kay Gloville, another awesome, incredible Moorish American who has, I had to speak on her because she brought me literally, like, if there was she took the cataracts off. I had been teaching more science for over a decade by the time I met this sister. And when I stepped into the classroom with her, and started learning, I felt like a brand new more. I felt like someone who was, learning just K, not KAY, just K, crystal, but I felt like somebody who was learning, more science, starting from the beginning, so I give honors to her. But the brother Robinson Bay, Robinson Bay got the raw, you know, Pennington Bay. I was not even Pennington Bay. I was Snake. I was Snake when I met Robinson Bay, and Robinson Bay was the one who taught me, first and foremost, that names mean things. We seek to embody these names, because that's by our nature. If somebody's calling us this, we start to identify with it. And, he removed that from me. He told me, he was the one who told me, man, you a Bay. And then taught me what Bay meant, and then made me able to actually see, that God trait within myself, and then to start to cultivate that and to grow that. And then another teacher that I had, a more was Elihu Pleasant Bay. It was a Sunday school, and I'll never forget. We was in Sunday school, and the Moors were having a debate about um, the law, the divine constitution and bylaws. And I mean, it was the Grand Sheik, the assistant Grand Sheik, the chairman, and the members, and they were actually debating. In my mind, I was trying to figure out, aren't they supposed to know what these things mean? They are officers, they are officials. How are they debating about something that they have had for all these years? Like, it means what it means. You supposed to know. I'm the new member. You supposed to be teaching me. And that disturbed me. I mean, it disturbed me in all kinds of ways. So I went back and I wrote a letter. I got the Moorish directory. I wrote a letter to every single solitary Grand Sheik that was on that directory, and I didn't get not one single solitary response. It just so happens that I got Pleasant Bay's address out there in Virginia, and he was the only Moor that responded. I mean, I got his letter back it seemed like it came immediately, and I wrote to him what I felt like the law meant, and he wrote me back. He said that, Mo, you on point, and he said don't allow for anybody to be God over you or God over the God that's within you. Cultivate yourself. And from there, he gave me his phone number, and we started building and talking, And that was one of the Moors who helped me. And then there was some more, man. My old man, Azim Hopkins Bay. That Mo right there is incredible. Like Hopkins Bay he truly does embody, all five principles, the grand principles that this movement stands for. This Moorish American Muslim embodies those principles, and he has for years. I've known this more for years, and we the same age. And I always, humbled myself to learn from him, and he opened the doors. He opened up the doors, and he taught, how to make more science applicable, in real life every day. And that was something to me that, that was important. So I give honors to him. And like I said, the grand governors, K. Gloville, to top it all off, and then, life is teacher, so
Absolutely, it's
Islam.
long. It's long. Hey, so we've reached that point in the show where we want to show some love to our audience. Thank y'all for coming and watching. Really appreciate y'all. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Hey, brother Bay, appreciate you. Islam, Mo. All right. Hey,
Islam.
we got a couple
Islam.
more Mo's who have shown gave some comments. You know this
Islam.
brother?
Absolutely. That's one of the young Moors that's right here. I'm finna go get up with that Mo after the show. We got some work to do right here in Peoria. We're gonna slide down on the Tri-County Urban League and see how we can help them out. We're gonna slide down on Brother Carl Holloway, see how we can help him out. I know this sister right here for over 30 years, so yeah, Islam. All praise due to a lot of these some good members right here.
All right.
We're gonna be busy today. Yeah.
Awesome. Hey, thank you, Sister Bay. Hey, Islamism,
Islam,
top of the
Islam.
pyramid. You already know.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead and dive into our reading material. What you got for us?
Woo! Jesus goes to the wilderness for self-examination, where he remains 40 days, is subjected to three temptations. He overcomes, returns to the camps of John, and begins teaching. Islam, do me a favor, Mo, because that's kind of small.
Sure.
Would you read instructions 1 through 6 for me?
Absolutely.
Islam.
Instruction one: the harbinger had paved the way. The Logos had been introduced to men as love made manifest, and he must now begin his divine ministry. Two: and he went forth into the wilderness to be alone with Allah, that he might look into his inner heart and note its strength and worthiness.
Stop right there.
Three.
Stop right there. Stop right there. I want to make sure that everybody listening got that part. and he went into the wilderness to be alone with Allah. All right? To be alone with Allah. Make sure everybody get that part before we move on. Let's go.
Absolutely. And with himself he talked. He said, my lower self is strong. By many ties I am bound down to carnal life. 4. Have I the strength to overcome and give my life a willing sacrifice for men? 5. When I shall stand before the face of men, and they demand a proof of my messiahship, what will I say? 6. And then the tempter came and said, if you be son of Allah, command these stones to turn to bread.
Islam. And then the tempter came. Mind you, Moors, that he is alone with Allah. So the only ones there is Jesus and Allah. So where did this tempter come from? This tempter came from within. The tempter came from within. Listen to what he said. He said, and with himself he spoke. By many ties I am bound down to carnal life. And then he asked himself a question. He said, have I the strength to give my life a willing sacrifice for the sons of men? He understood that this was going to be something difficult to do for all of those, for all of the Moors out there, for all of the Asiatics, for all of the people who out there, and they wake up every morning to commit to helping others. That's a difficult task. That's why the hero is the most renowned of human character, because the public is unstable and ungrateful. They're going to ask you, oh, well, why you helping? Oh, you got some type of ulterior motive. No one is going to believe that you are doing this because of the goodness that is within your heart. And I say the goodness that is within your heart because who did he go to be alone with? Allah. That's who is within your heart. It's difficult for the rest of the world to understand that because it's only a few who know what the truth is about man. See, this is the truth about man. Man has a higher self and a lower self. Man has God within him. Man does not have to travel outside by meets and bounds to locate Allah. Allah is always there, forever present and prepared to teach and guide us. I have to emphasize this to the Moors every day because of the spookism that you have been taught since you was a child. And it's difficult to relinquish that. It's very difficult. I know because it was difficult for me and it's still difficult every day. Every day we face the challenge of looking into the face of those who are smiling in your face. And the whole time they are hating you for being you. They are hating you for displaying the type of strength that it takes to go out and help others. See, Jesus knew this. But listen to what the tempter said, and then the tempter came. And he said, if you be the son of Allah, then command these stones to turn to bread. Well, Jesus taught us earlier in chapter 7 that understanding is a rock. It is the rock on which man builds himself upon. It is the gnosis of the alt and of the not, of falsehood and of truth. Gnosis means that it is an intuitive, spiritual understanding of things. Okay, so intuitive, it's not something that you have ever been told. It's something that you intuit from within. It comes from Allah. So since Jesus already knew the difficulty that he was going to have to face, it was no way that the difficulty that he understood could not be turned to his advantage, commanded to turn to bread. Bread is food. It is something that nurtures us. Remember, Jesus came from Bethlehem, from the place where bread is made. All right. So command these things that you know already. I always use the same example with the Moors. All right. If you were a fighter and you knew that your opponent ain't had nothing but that jab, that's all he got. He ain't got nothing else. You understand this completely. With proper preparation, there is no way that you should lose this fight. Okay. We understand the difficulties that we face as Asiatics in America. We understand that. All right. We understand systemic racism. We understand the prejudices. We understand the misconceptions and the misperceptions. We understand all of this. We understand that we are behind the 8 ball financially and economically. These are things that we know. So since we know these things, we should be able to turn this information to our advantage. All right. We should be able to do the SWOT analysis, the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. We should be able to analyze these things about ourselves and about our position, and then move forward, prepared to win. But first, you got to have the attitude of a winner. You know, Jesus also was from the tribe of Judah, the lion tribe. You understand what I'm saying? These are champions, winners, kings. It's royal blood. You feel me? And I ain't talking about that lion, who that lamb right there is getting on. I'm talking about the lion that's within, the attitude, the attitude of rulership. You know what I mean? This is important. Jesus went
Facts.
into the wilderness. Okay. Like the brother was talking about earlier. And I'm going to let the brother, because I want the brother to share a message that he just shared with me before we started this episode, because it was very enlightening, on this topic, right? So talk to the Moors about the wilderness. Yeah.
Well, quite a few years ago, my wife and I we sat down and we said, you know what, we need to have some kind of a retreat for the people to help them, have remission from disease, to heal, and we understood that it needed to be a location that was the wilderness. So we went out and purchased one. We got a great price on a piece of land, 2.5 acres out in Heathville, Virginia. And for the longest time, we've been using that land as for what we call on roottribes.com, we call the nature detox. Right. So what I do is I'm the facilitator. Anyone who's dealing with some type of a disease, and they like to have remission of that disease, we go out to the forest. This land, this 2.5 acres, has never been built on. The land is unlevel land. There's vegetation everywhere. It really tests who you are, because you can come out there and you could be a tough guy. You can come out there and be a tough woman, right? But we're gonna see how tough you are in the middle of the night, sleeping in that tent while the animals walking around out there, and you don't know what kind of animals it is. You thinking they
Yeah.
might be about to eat you. Them trees swaying in the wind and all that. This is the wilderness. This is what Yeshua went through when he did 40 days and 40 nights out in the wilderness. And make no mistake about it, there's many other yogis, sages, gurus, all kinds of people who have manifested this Christ energy throughout the millennia past, who have did the same time and time again.
That's
But this is how you truly know thyself. Understand that in that wilderness, there's no 90-degree angles. In that wilderness, there's no rectangles, there's no squares. There's only nature. There's only
right.
what's real out there in that forest. What is you? Stardust, manifest.
That's right. That's right. You know, I when I first learned that message, right, I created a mnemonic so that I could remember what the original three elements was in the universe. It's here hails life. Hydrogen, helium, and lithium. These were the original three elements, right? And all the other elements, like I said, they come from the belly of the stars. When what we call a supernova occurs, then these elements that come from the belly of the stars, they just shoot across the universe. And it's amazing how Allah is like the ultimate creator. He created with the word, he created with thought, and then his creation it moves forward in a pattern that he pre-designed, and it continues to create. Time never was with Allah. It's no such thing as time. So Allah is watching his creation manifest and watching it unfold. Okay, well, wisdom is the consciousness that man is all, that Allah and man are one. So coming into the true awareness of this truth is to know that we have the ability to do the same. So I've been watching myself unfold, and then I have been watching my plans unfold. Okay, Moors, America. I just got out of prison. I spent 20 years, 3 months, and 24 days in prison. But like I said, I spent the final 16 years plotting out the rest of my life. And I didn't say, well, I'm going to begin putting my plan in motion when I'm released. As soon as the framework was established, I said, well, I'm going to start doing everything that can be done right now. So I have been blessed by God to watch my own plan unfold, as does Allah's plan unfold every day. Think about the universe that we live in. We live in a space that Allah created, that every time we actually cause a gesture. Every time we move, every time we inhale and exhale breath, the universe expands and creates more room for our ideas. Think about that. We can add to it perpetually for eternity moving forward. And Allah has created this space. In the beginning, he said Allah created the heavens and earth. He created this heaven, this space that forever opens up and expands to make room for our creations. Right? Think about that. That's amazing. So, with that knowledge, it excites me so much. I love Allah so much for allowing such an opportunity that I would feel like a cold sucker if I didn't take advantage of it. So I want the Moors to share, in this knowledge of self, this awareness that Allah loves you so much, that Allah has blessed you so much, and forever is a blessing you so much. And when I say Allah, listen, I'm talking about God. So to the Christians, to the Jews, to the African Hebrew Israelites, to the Ifa Yorubas, to the Santeria, to the Buddhists, to the Hinduists, to everybody out there in the world who believes in one God. It does not matter what you call him. It does not matter in your mind how you perceive him, because everyone sees a part of Allah. Because Allah is so vast that there is no way that we can see him in his complete self. We can't even see ourselves completely. You understand what I'm saying? Every day we discover new things about ourselves. That's why the Prophet Noble Ali taught us that as man unfolds, his God unfolds, because our ideal changes. It evolves, it grows, it takes on new incredible capacities every day. Every day. This is the wonderful thing about life, despite all of the hurdles. We could come on this podcast every day and talk about how terrible the society is, how incredibly difficult our days are, but that's just not true. That's just not true. You know what I mean? This is not true. We actually have a great opportunity. For those of you who woke up this morning and praise Allah, thank God. You know what I mean? Say, man, just say your prayers and get up and move, man, and know that you have the opportunity and the chance to make whatever that dream was you had. If you liked it, you can make it real, man. You can make it real.
I appreciate what you just said. I want to chime in on that. Before I do, hey, y'all, like, comment, share, subscribe. Really appreciate y'all. All y'all putting the comments in there. Sister K Bay, I'm gonna put your comment back on the screen real quick. Really appreciate you. Who else we got in here? Brother Bay, appreciate you on the comments. Thank y'all so much. But I want to touch on that because we talking about justice today, right? And when it comes down to justice, I think a lot of us we get hurt. We try to get our own justice, and what we should be doing is trusting how the law works. We should be trusting ourselves because we know ourselves. What do you think about that, brother?
I think that law governs all events, as the Quran teaches us. And the problem is that we don't fully understand or comprehend the fact that we are not events. Man is not an event. Okay. So with that being the case, law does not govern us. Now, the thing we are challenged to do in order to have the things that we desire, when the things that we desire are, um, how can I say it, not injurious to other people, is to learn the law that governs the situation. So if you want wealth, then you need to learn the law of finance, and you need the law of learn the law of self cultivation. You need to learn those laws. You see, when man wanted to fly, he learned the law. He studied the laws of aviation, and now man can fly. You know, Law governs all events, people. You are not an event. You are not an event. So when things take place in your life, always remember this teaching that Matheno passed down to John. He said the cause of death are always for the best, for we are solving problems there as well as here. And man is sure to find himself where he solves his problems best. All right. Wherever you are, whatever you are going through, it is necessary. So for me, being in prison for so many years, right? I came to the realization that I was where I was supposed to be. So what that caused me to do was to look around and say, well, what is it that Allah wants me to pick up? Or look around and say, what is it that Allah wants me to put down? You know, I knew that I was there wherever I was there for a reason, you know, and I would seek out that reason. And every time I would discover it, I'm gonna give y'all an example. I'm down there in Oklahoma, in El Reno. When I got there, I went there to take the RDAP program. And when I got there was no more Science Temple of America. So of course, I started to grow the temple because that's what I do, you know. So I started to teach, I started to talk to everybody about more science. You know, it got to the point where the brothers used to play poker at this table. I told the brothers at 6:50 every day, you know, I want to start teaching at this table. I want to teach. I didn't just teach more science. I taught from every day was something different. I taught from the Quran one day, I taught from the Bible one day, I taught parenthood one day, and I taught leadership one day. And then on the other day, I would pull out a book and I would print out different segments of the book. And then most of the time, it was message for the people from Marcus Mosiah Garvey. And we would study these materials. This group grew so much around this table because it was COVID. We couldn't really get to the chapel. The group grew so much that they sent in the SIS, the Special Investigation Services, to sit down and say, well, what is they doing at this table? Like we was having a game meeting or something. So when the SIS came and sat around the table, he pulled me to the side. He said, man, this is good. This is something good that you're doing. I wish they was doing this in every block. And he left. Now, he was happy with it. But the AW, he was not happy. This guy named Warden Michelle, Warden Michelle, you know, he said no one man should have all this power, you know, so he didn't like that. Then they opened up the chapel and all these Moors started coming to the chapel. I mean, the temple was growing. It was growing at an alarming rate. For all of the Moorish American Muslims, the southern part of the United States of America is fertile ground for the Moorish paradigm, because those individuals down there, they want it, you know. So we down here, we demonstrate Moorish science, and a lot of people was leaving out the church and joining the Moorish Science Temple of America. So the chaplain, why you going up in there with them? They going to hell. You know, they don't believe in Jesus Christ. And, you know, the more they tell them, they absolutely believe in Jesus Christ. They don't believe he's the Son of God. Oh, yes, we do believe. We know he's the Son of God. You know, so now they just get upset at the Mo. So they threw the Mo in the shoe. They threw the Mo in the shoe. Real talk. They put me in the hole. I went to the hole and they transferred me. I had 14 security points, which is a low security. They transferred me back to the high security to the United States Penitentiary. And when they did it, I was like, man, this ain't fair. This ain't right. I'm at the end of my sentence. They sending me there. And then I recalled the Quran. And I said, okay. So I get there and I start looking around. What am I here to pick up? What am I here to put down? You know? And man, well, I made some connections. While I was there, I connected with the psychology department. I started working with them to help the brothers on the compound. And I created a program, effective communication program for prisoners. And I started to teach that program. That was after I started to teach Preparing for Success After Prison, the program that was created by another prisoner who was recently released, you know. And they opened up the doors for the BOP to tell me that once I get this halfway house thing said and done, to come back and help them facilitate these programs. So while man was plotting and while the devil was plotting, Allah, he plots and he plans, and he is the best of planners. So everybody, no matter what you're going through, understand that you're going through it by the decree of Allah, by order of God. Be still, because he who hears is still. Be still and ask yourself, why am I going through this? What's in it for me? It's something in it for you. Make sure you don't leave without it. Islam Moors, make sure you don't leave that situation, whether it's favorable or unfavorable. Do not leave that situation before you get what's there for you.
That's a really great point. For a while, and I would imagine many people have had a similar problem as what I'm about to describe, but I had some challenges in my marriage. And there's many people who saw those challenges and asked me questions like, "Yo, why are you still there? why are you dealing with that?" And I think I think that when it comes down to justice, we've got to be also thinking about integrity to self, the
Absolutely.
oaths that we take. And there's a price that we pay when we don't keep those oaths, even in the midst of a massive, massive adversity. Maybe that adversity is there for us like it was for Job. Sometimes it's there to, I was not sometimes it's there. I would say it's always there to help us reveal who we are to ourselves and obviously to the world. Obviously, there's a gift that every single one of us has to give to humanity and to our multiversal reality. That the only way that we could give that gift is by demonstrating through the heaviest challenges. One of the things that I love to bring to the table about our people is I believe that every single one of us is 350 carat diamonds. But the reality of a diamond is this. This is the thing that I want to make sure I hammer home to the people today. We all can be 350 carat diamonds, but the only way that diamond will be revealed to the people is if we knock off those rough edges of that coal. It's got to be shaped. It's got to be cultivated. We've got to do some work. Now, before that even happens, before we even get to that point, because that's after you done found it. You got to dig for a while to find it. Well, you got to be shaped into that diamond first. You piece of coal. You got to have some pressure. That pressure
Mm,
is either going to make you bust or it's going to turn you into something special, right? But we've got to have that pressure, and I think that this is heavily aligned with justice.
mhm. The Quran says that man will be fully saved, redeemed, perfected by the things he suffers. Think about that. He will be fully saved, redeemed, perfected by the things he suffers. So what you're saying is absolutely true, Mo. You got to go through some stuff in order to unfold. So Allah always creates the opportunity for us to go through some stuff. Now,
Hey, bro, check out these comments. We go, Sister
uh,
K Bay. She coming with the fire right now. Hey, click
what's he
that
say?
link, sister. Come on in the studio with us.
Anything you going through, don't ask God why. Why you? Why not? Why not you? Ain't yeah, that's right. What did he say? Who are you, Muslim, not to be tested? Everything you go through is meant to build you. This is a heavy walk, a heavy work, Noble Ali. He needs strong women and men. That's right. That's right. He say this is a field open to strong men and women, only to strong men and women. Now, the truth about that is that a lot of times these men and women don't know they strong. They come to the Moorish Science Temple of America on their knees, crawling. They crawl to the temple. They crawl to the temple begging for help, begging for somebody else to lift them up. And when they get here, we teach them how to stand up. And we teach them how to stay standing up. We teach them to pray standing up. We teach them to embrace, their suffering, to turn their suffering into delight, because this is the power that we all have. You know, they have an idea about the power when they say things like mind over matter. That reflects an idea. You know, that reflects a surface understanding of what the truth is about man. But man over everything. I like to use the measure on cartoons. We always see the wizards and the warlocks and the witches. They are made stronger by their magic wands, right? They have this medium that makes them more powerful. But when they put the magic wand down, we don't see the magic wand doing nothing. It ain't nothing but just a stick. So still the power, the exaggerated power that the magic wand is supposed to be giving them, it truly comes from them in the first place. So in the Moore Science Temple of America, this is what we teach. This is what is the difference between what we teach and how we teach it in comparison with other schools of thought. Man is a priest for himself. He don't need no middleman to intercede. We don't need no magic wands. All we have to do is think it. Thought is the cause of it all. I tell everybody, meditation. In meditation, what do? You are imagining possibilities. You are imagining yourself doing things that you have never done. You are imagining your soul growing and evolving into something greater than what it is right now today. This self-alchemy that takes place. I want to share with the Moors how I know this is true, how I learned this lesson. When I first came to the Moore Science Temple of America, I will never forget. I studied Quran for 8 months straight, and when I say that, I mean every single solitary morning at 5:45. How we wake up to prepare for this podcast, I was waking up. Me, Robinson Bay, and Moses Eel and Harris Eel would study Quran until the sun went down and we got locked up in our demonstration. And I would sit down in my cell and I would continue to study Quran until my eyes went closed. And I did that every day for 8 months before I even went inside the temple, because I knew that when I went in, I was never going to come out. So finally, when I went inside, the Grand Sheik said, man, well, you're going to speak Friday. You're going to speak. So I knew I was going to speak. I was prepared to do it. I'm like, all right, bet. I'm gonna get to the podium and I'm studying my lessons and I'm gonna share, my enthusiasm for this material, right? So when I get to the podium, I give my praises and honors. I had practiced that, and I froze. I didn't have nothing else I didn't have no words to express all of the feelings that I had. There was no words for me to express it. So I froze. I left the podium, and then it all started coming to me. I started speaking to myself in my head, and I was like, wow. So but the Grand Sheik knew the truth about man. He said, oh, you'll be back next week. So I was studying Metal Netter. At the time, I was studying Metal Netter just like I was studying Quran. So when next Friday came, that fear of approaching that podium started to creep in. So I went to my cell and I put the towel up on the door and I closed the door and I sat down in my chair and I put my fez on my head, because Raul Nefer said you put the crown of Asar on, but the crown of Asar don't mean nothing to me. So it didn't have that same impact that it might have had on those that was actually their spiritual system. But I put my fez on and I placed myself in that chair and I closed my eyes and I started to deep breathe. And I seen my fez turn black. And I seen just a crowd of people out in front of me. I still, to this day, I had the same vision. It was a whole lot of people. It was Europeans. It was a lot of Native Americans. The mass majority, and now I understand that these are our people. Back then, I didn't know that we was the same people. I hadn't learned that yet. But I seen all these natives out there with feathers and all this, and I was speaking to them. And I don't know what I was saying, but I was clearly being understood by these people. And I went into that trance and I got up and I went to the temple. And from that day to this day, speaking I don't have no problem with that. I did that every week to prepare to go to that podium to teach more science, to teach everything that I have been learning. I did that every day until I no longer had to do it. Now I'm able to evoke that same trance condition, that same trance state whenever I want to. Whenever it's called upon. If I'm out there in Asia and I'm walking down the street and somebody walks up to me and they see me with my fez on and my medallions and they think that if they talk to me, their conditions could be made better, and then they lay their problems down at my feet, instantly I go into that same trance and I allow for the spirit that's within me to actuate and direct my tongue. You understand me? And this is what I mean by just envisioning. Thought is the cause of it all. Whatever you want, see it in your possession. And I guarantee you that your body, your physical body, will start to move towards it. All
Oh, you
right.
know what? Let me jump in on that. Let me jump in on that. And I want to give y'all a disclaimer. Okay. You can have anything you want. Ask and ye shall receive. Now understand though, the moment you ask for your desires, you gonna get them. You better make sure you prepared, because you better understand that every single desire that you have, every single want that you have, no matter what it is work. It comes with a challenge to test that you are worthy of whatever it is you desire. And if you ain't ready, oh, that thing gonna smack you hard. And it's gonna keep coming back to smack you over and over again till you decide you are actually ready for it. And it ain't gonna stop, because now that you didn't ask for it, well, you didn't received.
That's right. Hey, what the Prophet Noble Ali say, the lessons of this pamphlet are not for sale, but you can receive them at an expense. I always tell them, well, when you look down and you do your financial statement for the week or for the month or however it is that that you pay your bills, you see your expenses on there, right? You can't live without those. You got to pay the rent. You got to put that food in the refrigerator. It's the same thing with these lessons. You can receive them at an expense. Once you start to learn them, then you need to know that you need them. You need to know to use them. You need to know that your life will not be better, that you will be constantly, perpetually in that Negro condition until you submit yourself to these holy and divine instructions that came from the Prophet Noble Ali. Well, they came from Allah through the Prophet Noble Ali. Let me say that, you know. But you got to put the work in. Remember what Jesus said? What Jesus said when the man say, "Good master, how shall I attain to eternal life?" You know, after he established that, you know, he had to keep the 10 Commandments. He told him, "Go sell everything you own. Come follow me. Do the work." You understand me? That he could not relinquish. He could not relinquish, you know, his material possessions, you know, because he had not yet been made to understand that everything that you could ever need, want, and desire is going to be granted to you as a consequence of your obedience to God. It's a consequence of it. Okay. See, the things that we have right now, you know, we don't understand that we earned them. We don't understand that they came to us as a gift from God. And we don't understand that God is forever prepared to continuously give us gifts. You know, our people, we always say, inshallah, if it be the will of Allah. Okay, I always like to tell everybody, Allah always wills a blessing. He always wills a blessing for us.
Absolutely.
Always.
You know what, brother. I want,
Yeah.
man. You hit that measure right on time because Allah does bring blessings, and one of the blessings that Allah has brought to us is Sister K Bay. I want to bring her to the stage.
Okay.
How you doing, sister?
Islam, I'm well.
Islam. It's a pleasure to meet you. It's a pleasure to see you. Thank you for being here with us. Today we're talking about justice. And we
You
actually are
know,
coming close to the we're coming close to the end of our programming. So if you got a measure, like go ahead and drop us some knowledge.
I just want to just a brief back history, and we like to say veggie back now instead of camelback, because we're trying to feed ourselves that goodness. So that's something our temple adopted. So I want a veggie back on some of the things y'all spoke on, especially when Brother Pennington Bay said most of these people came to the temple in dire need, crawling into the temple. I was one of those people, you know. Um, the goodness of friendship is you see your friend down and you know their conditions could be better. We can't save everybody, but once you give them their lessons and you introduce them to salvation, it's up to them to take it and make it their own. And I'm proud to say that I'm one of those people. I came to Morris Science Temple of America in a desperate need of salvation and guidance. I was struggling with anxiety. I was struggling with depression. I knew I could change my conditions, but I didn't know how. I really didn't know how to pray. Even though I came from Christian church, I never knew how to praise or submit or just praise him out loud. I always did it in shyness. So upon Penitent Bay introducing me to the temple, he introduced me to great women and great men that taught me how to meditate for the first time, how to change my own conditions. So I feel like it saved me from a dire state. So now my life is a willing sacrifice for this movement and to pass it on to other sisters and brothers and young adults that need it. So man, when y'all was talking about them diamonds, they need that pressure. So I never say why me. I always say why not me? What's this lesson for? And I'm just thankful, to have Pennington Bay as a mentor to, iron sharpens iron, and to get in this movement and do this mighty work.
Gratitude, sister. Gratitude. Really appreciate you coming through and giving that measure. And this is a similar story that I've heard from many other Moors. Is that they come into the temple and they may have been lost, and they're able to find themselves using those lessons. But I would say that if you found yourself, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, you found yourself because you applied all that information. It was application that did it for you.
Yeah, it was like Like the brother said, I used to didn't know how to speak. I used to say, I used to when I was called on to speak, I text him like, hey, they want me to speak. I need to prepare. I need to prepare. And he always tell me, what you preparing for? You know your lessons, right? He said, you just got to learn to speak. You just got to let it flow out of you. When you prepare, is it's rehearsed. It's okay to prepare. He said, but always speak for the heart and always speak for what you know. Don't speak on what you don't know. So it prepared these lessons prepare you to perfect your life. And I was able to start to perfect my life and start to make a better life for me and my children and my family as well. Them I'm being the only Moorish American in my family is starting to gravitate to them, and they starting to warm up to it because they see how it changed my life and how I apply the lessons, and I don't play about the prophet's program. So once people see you living who you say you are, they want their conditions changed as well. So they're gonna start to follow suit.
I appreciate that. Hey, brother Maurice, you got any brief questions for Sister Bay?
Nah, she know what's up. The one thing. I mean, for real, she just said it. She just said it. And she said it the best that it could be said because she's speaking about the energy that's in right now revolving around her vibration. And that's one thing that our ancient ancestors said: if you want to change your condition, then you got to change your vibration. So she know what's up.
That's a fact. So,
I'm
hey,
I'm
so,
y'all
so
biggest supporter too. I'm on here every morning. I think it's so important. I'm sharing it on every platform possible. I think it's so important because some people, we don't just want to be in a temple on Fridays and Sunday. We need our soul fed every day of the week, and this platform does it for me. So I'm here every morning with y'all. So and I'm supporting y'all. I'm sharing anything I can do to help. Pennington Bay already know I'm here for the movement. So
gratitude, really,
appreciate
really
y'all for this.
appreciate you, and I want to thank everybody out there who's been watching, who's been commenting, sharing, subscribing. Thank y'all so much because this is important. We need to get this message out. We need to get it out to all the Asiatics, all the Moors worldwide, because for us to rise, and this is something that I talk about regularly when I'm teaching or I'm giving measures, in no matter what the spaces are, no matter whether I'm talking to Moors and Asiatics or I'm talking to Europeans or I'm talking to Asians or I'm talking to Africans or no matter what group of people that I'm talking to, I let everybody know that right now what we're dealing with is this. I don't know if everybody can see this. Let me make myself a little bit bigger. This is what we're dealing with right here, right? Well, what is this? This is Asians. This is Africans. This is Americans. But then you come to America, then you got this. This is white people, black people, all these different names of people. And what is it? It's a bunch of ways to divide us. And what we are supposed to be doing is creating this. This is unity. This is collectivism. We got to have this to move forward, or else what happens is we're easily controllable. We're the most powerful people on the planet, and it's not even close. How are we
Not
being
even.
controlled? Because we are allowing ourselves to come down in those chakras. We're allowing ourselves to come down in that chi, in that life energy, to a place where we can be controlled. But if we rise up in that higher self, uh, if we rise up in that higher self, oh man, it's special because we take back leadership. We take back control of our homes. We take back control of our communities. We take back control of this planet and this entire universe within
That's
one
right.
generation.
That's right.
It's,
That's right. Islam. All I want to say, in the words of my main man Caesar, more together, strong. All right. Listen, together we strong. What the prophet said. What the prophet said. We cannot be divided, Mo. We cannot be divided. We have to come together. That don't mean that we have to come together under one leadership. That don't mean that. All that means is that we have to work together more. We have to work together. All right. I love my leaders. I know everybody else. Y'all love y'all leaders. We don't have to defend the truth. If they leading you, they should be leading you because they are representatives who embody the truth. Therefore, they do not need you to defend them. Okay. All we got to do is humble ourselves to what the truth is about us. Create a balance, cultivate the balance, grow yourself. Allah is the husbandman of everything that is, and He's within you.
Absolutely. So again, I want to thank Sister K Bay for coming to the stage. Appreciate you. Amazing information, amazing measure. Thank you so much for all the support that you give. Thank you to all the other Moors and the Asiatics out there that are watching, subscribing, liking, commenting, and just showing love and telling people about the podcast. Because understand, we do have ways to monetize this, but we're not really focused on it. We understand that this message is way more important than us earning money. If you'd like to support, listen, there's a Cash App right here. All right, y'all get on over there and y'all spend $5. Put $5 into this Cash App right now. Put $10 in there. Put $20. You got 50? Put 50 in there. You got 50 cent. Put 50 cent in this Cash App. Listen, blow this Cash App up, okay? The next time we come on this show and put this Cash App up here, if this brother got the ringer for the Cash App, I want to hear that ringer go off the entire episode. I want to in one each episode, the Moorish Science Temple of America, all the members in there, even if they put each of them put 50 cent in, this brother should see $10,000
And I'm gonna tell the
each
Moors this.
episode. And I'm not even asking y'all to put $10,000, but this is the power that we have from 50 cent. This is the power that we have from 25 cents of us just pulling our funds together and supporting righteousness. And there are more Moors out there. There are other sheiks out there that are also putting out righteous messages. And I ain't just talking about righteous messages. I'm talking about righteous messages.
That's
Okay.
right.
So
That's right.
listen, y'all go ahead and spend some money with this brother. Help this brother rise out of the conditions that he has once been in and help him rise to the level of leadership that he needs to be at to help our people. Understand that you got so many people, you got multiple people like myself who got all kinds of skills and talents. Listen, get in touch with this brother and give your gifts and talents to this brother. Elevate this brother, okay? And elevate these other leaders out here. This is not about can I make the most money? This is not about who's the smartest. This is about us galvanizing ourselves around someone who is going to do what is necessary, who's going to walk that path of righteousness. And they're not going to stop because $1 million is right there. Oh man, Billy, $1 million? Oh man, yeah, Billy, or whatever you need, bro. No, this brother is not going to do that. This is one of the ones who's going to actually stay consistent with what we need. And eventually that $1 million is going to come, but we're going to earn it independently. Hey, listen, go spend some money with this brother. Go support this brother on the Facebook. Listen, I'm putting the links up on the page right now. Come on now. Go to the YouTube, go to the Facebook. Y'all go show this brother some love and allow him to teach the next generation. Give him what he needs to give this message of righteousness to the next generation. This brother had to learn the hard way. Listen, I'm telling y'all this on purpose, okay? Because I understand. This brother had to learn the hard way, just like I did. I didn't go to prison, but I went to Iraq. I woke up so many days because a bomb went off. I'm telling you right now, my brother, I used to play basketball court and they would be shooting across the Tigris River and almost hit me in the head while I'm playing basketball. I understand what this brother has went through. This brother said he practiced and he prepared for 16 years. Listen, that is something that we need to show some love to. We need to put this brother in a position where he can be even more effective than he is right now. This brother was effective from prison. Okay? This brother was effective from prison. This is part of the reason why the temple that he is with, they revere him. The things that this man has told me behind closed doors, oh my God. I am a high level leader and I'm impressed. I don't think people even understand how difficult it is to impress me. I'm not impressed easily at all. And I'm talking about I'm not even impressed by leaders of the past. I don't care what they've achieved. If you have not walked this path of righteousness based on demonstration, you ain't going to impress me because I'm doing it right now. I see the challenge. I see how hard it is. And this brother is doing it. Listen, I'm about to put this Cash App back on the screen because we got to go. I'll put this Cash App back on the screen. And listen, y'all screenshot this. Send this to every Moor you know. Send this to every Asiatic you know in every country of the world and get some money in this brother's Cash App. We are going to elevate righteousness from this point forward. However we got to, we're going to do it independently. We're not taking no money from these other entities out here that want to control us. No, we're going to do this independently, and we're going to do it right this time. Listen, y'all be blessed.
Matrix.
Y'all be, you know what? Before we go,
They put us in the
I'm
matrix,
about.
bro.
Oh, it's a matrix. Hopefully you can see me soon. I'm
They
about to
put
put
us in
these
the
comments up
matrix.
on the screen. A servant is worthy of his hire. Absolutely. Thank you, Sister K Bay. Let's go ahead and get through these comments real quick. Trust his dedication is to the temple. Given to him is giving to his continued effort. Absolutely. This brother is one of the very few out here who is doing that real work to uplift fallen humanity, no matter what his challenges are, no matter what is standing in his way. And that is what we need to support. We need to support anybody out here who is put with the hardest challenges. And through those challenges, they stay diligent, they stay righteous, right? This is the story of Job in real time. We're looking at Job right now. All right, y'all give this brother some support. Okay. Yes, support. What Sister K Bay said. Now listen, we gotta go. We got a few more things to do. But listen, y'all be blessed. Thank y'all so much. Hey, give us some brief closing remarks, brother Bay.
All I got to do is say to the young Mo, Yamin Bay, I'm on my way. We got work to do this morning. And say to the world, if y'all put anything, if anything they go in that cash app, I'm gonna tell y'all what I'm gonna do with it. Right now, I'm gonna build this temple right here in Peoria, because I'm not staying here. I'm going home. What they say, ain't no place like home. But while I'm here, we're gonna build this temple right here in Peoria. We're gonna go out, we're gonna help all of these nonprofit organizations that's trying to make changes out here in this community and make this a better place. And then we're gonna go and do the work somewhere else. Islam, Moors, peace, love, obey the prophet, be good Moors.
Islam.
Islam.